what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this.
Ooh.
So I'm just going to give you the full window and say, um, hello, everyone. It's Tracy. My new single or my music or whatever you want to say will be released November 3rd. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, go.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Tracy. Uh, I will have a new single called Serenity released on November 3rd. Please pre-save at the link that I attached on Instagram, and I will see you when it's dropped. Thank you.
That was really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just
Well,
simple as
I'll
that.
send I'll send it to you later.
Okay. I don't need to say my last name. I usually don't pronounce my last name because my friend like it's kind of complicated to pronounce my last name, right? So when I introduce myself, I just said my first name. Yeah.
Well, thank you for meeting early. This might actually be a good idea since you don't want to wait till 4. Get it over with, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just one time, right? Because I remember you said like I don't know why I remember how you said you so we record at 12 and then we record again at 4. Like we don't need to do twice, right? It's just once.
No, I meant that. Okay, so not only have you got me to change my whole scheduling technique, but now I put in there I record between these hours. It doesn't
Oh,
mean that when it says 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, doesn't mean that we do a recording at 8 to 9 and then we'll do another one from 10 to 11. I mean, it's sort of like that's not what I meant by that. I'm saying that those are the hours that I'm going to be recording because I had
oh,
one this morning at 7 a.m. So,
wow. That
well, I
was
mean, they're from the UK, so that's really 5 hours ahead, right?
right.
Okay,
Yeah. And
here
you're
we go.
busy then, like a
You
very
ready?
famous podcast host. Yeah, I'm ready.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today we have Tracy Tree, and she's an indie pop folk ballad singer, songwriter who writes songs that will make an 80-year-old man cry. And she's right. And I'm not 80 though, but I did cry. Ah, see what I did there? Um, Her emotional, vulnerable lyrics and beautifully crafted melodies sing in the heart of her deepest fans. And I don't know how many Alicia Cara fans there are out there, but most of her music, um, and also Jada Facer fans, um, sort of when you listen to Tracy's music, especially, um, I think I can't remember. Was Serenity actually? Is there a little bit of a taste of Serenity played yet? Like I can't remember if it was Serenity or was it another song that I was listening to. Um, you were singing. Have we heard Serenity yet?
No, Serenity's out like I said at the beginning of the video before we record.
No, I
It was
know, but I'm thinking that there was a song that you were singing earlier. Was that another single of yours?
oh, it's on Instagram. That was the promotion of Serenity. That
Okay,
was like
promotional Serenity.
yeah, so
Okay,
it's Serenity, but it's like snippets of it.
okay.
Yeah.
So Tracy's single Serenity will be released next Friday, November 3rd, on all streaming platforms. And she has strictly on her Instagram her talking about that. Okay. So, welcome, Tracy, to the Onstage podcast. Thank you very much for taking this time to um, talk to us.
Thank you.
Can you give us a little bit of a backstory of who is Tracy Tree and why you wanted to get into music?
So I'm Tracy, and the reason I want to get into music is because when I was young, and then I first actually started as a classical pianist. So um, at age 4. and then I played basically all the way till about 13, and then I was like, and then I saw the first season of Voice of China, and ever after I saw that, I was like, okay, I want to start singing, and that's why I started going to singing. At first, I sang my cover, like, well, mostly cover songs, and then eventually I feel like it's better to write my own song because sometimes the cover has like the range might be too high for my vocal range or too low, and when I wrote my own song, it's always within my range. So I became a songwriter, and then right now, so I have like two identities apart from being a singer. I'm also a songwriter, and that's pretty much kind of the journey around. Yeah.
So I take it your family and your tree, ha ha ha, that your
Yeah.
family tree is Chinese. So are you familiar with Lang Lang and Yu Zha Wang,
Yeah.
pianists?
Yeah. They're very famous pianists. Yeah.
Cool. So I take it you prefer to be a singer-songwriter than a pianist, or do you do both?
I'm I think when it comes to like on stage promotion or on screen podcast, I'm always like just doing the singer songwriter identity. Because with classical pianists, I'm mostly just a teacher right now. Like I teach private piano lessons part time. So so I guess I'm more of a singer songwriter when it comes to interviews or taking photos, filming videos, and participating on the Voice series or any kind of singing competition. More into like when it comes to competition, I'm always participate the singing competition, not the piano competition. So I guess I'm not trying to be a performer on piano, but more like a performer on singing. Yeah.
Did you know that Megan Gilby is going to audition for The Voice?
Yeah, I'm going to do that too actually. I'm gonna like start filming. Yeah,
Can't wait.
yeah, next Tuesday, actually before my single drops, I'm gonna film at Mississauga Arts Council because I'm actually part of the member from Mississauga Arts Council.
Mhm.
So we have like free access to the studio there. So I've actually the promo video of Serenity on my Instagram is I actually film it in the studio. That's why they have the black like background, but they have different color like the screens. Like that was a black screen, and I'm planning to use maybe the green screen this time just to film my audition video, and then we'll see how it goes. You know.
And we will link that in the description on Tracy's video, which definitely will be released on Friday at 8 a.m., which is that's actually that's not useful information because once I post this, people will say, wait a minute, it is 8 a.m. on Friday. What? So I'll
Yeah, I think
delete that
it's
part.
actually yeah, the song will be out at 12 a.m. like once Friday hit. So I don't think it's 8 a.m. It'll drop once like November 3rd came.
So November 13th, the actual song will be Your Baby. Wait a minute. So what's November 3rd?
November 3rd is the Serenity will be dropped, and it's gonna be dropped at 12 a.m. because starting at 12 a.m. it's November 3rd, right? So
So when this episode is released, when did you want me to release it?
since you said uh,
You want me to release it sometime next week so that at least you have 3 or 4 days to hear that your single will be dropped on Friday? Is that what you wanted?
yeah, since you said
Or did you want me to post this podcast on Friday, November 3rd?
You could, I guess you could post it on next Tuesday instead because since I recorded the pre-save sentence before we start
Hmm.
the podcast, then you could put that and the podcast up on next Tuesday.
I
So
can literally just send you that little snippet as a video and then you can post it on your Instagram. I can make it look really good, have underneath um, new single Serenity and fix it up and make it look good. So like I'm usually good at.
oh, okay, then you could just post that video. Then yeah, then this thing can be released on Friday along with my single, and then the little snippet that we started before this podcast, then that could be posted on
Okay, so
Tuesday.
let's do it. Okay, so let's do it this way.
Yeah.
This means edit this. Okay, so I'll I'll put this on the podcast instead. And everyone, Tracy's new single Serenity is released today, Friday, November 3rd at 12 a.m. And you can go to all streaming platforms like Spotify and Amazon Music, I suppose, can be downloaded and streamed. Actually, there's a snippet of Serenity on her Instagram, and it actually sounds really good. So I'm looking forward to the actual single. Thank you, Tracy, for that info. Looking forward to that. Uh, so you're taking music at Humber College, and I know where Miriam Musicking is, and that's just up the street here, actually. Um,
Oh, you live
and
in Oakville?
I don't live in Oakville,
Oh,
but I know you're up the street. That's all I'm going to say.
that's cool.
And my black cat is causing me a lot of problems here. Okay, so once I edit this, you won't get any of this stuff. Um, and so being a music business student at Humber, do you get the chance to train under the best?
The best profs?
Like, let's do that again. Oh, look at that! You got Roberta Babin. Actually, Roberta was my vocal coach.
Who, what did I get for Roberta Babin for?
Roberta Babin is the one that is has a mutual connection,
Oh,
and
on
actually,
Instagram?
yeah, and she
Mm,
actually. Okay, let's do this again.
mm.
So, being a student at Humber College, do you get a lot of study and instruction from other instructors who actually are in the ministry or were in the ministry?
Um, I that's an interesting question because I've never got asked by like this question before. Um, so being in like Humber doing music business, right, I'm actually in it right now. So I'm currently doing the grad study. It's not an undergrad, it's grad because I did my undergrad at Queens, majoring in piano and music production. At Humber, instead of the creative side of music, because I feel like I've done a lot. I've done singing, I've done piano, I've done creating music so I can write songs. I figured I should learn about the business side of the music because in this industry there's also business side, how to promote yourself, how to market yourself. Whether you're singer, songwriter, or you're pianist, you all need to kind of like being kind of like an entrepreneur. So that's why I came to this program. And then I joined this summer, and the program coordinator is Tom, and he used to work at Universal Music. So, and now he's a full time professor at Humber. So, I guess he was in the music industry, but he used to be working at Universal for 30 years. So, he's a very, very experienced veteran person in this industry. And other profs like Mike and Stacy, they're all currently working in the music industry as like Mike is an artist manager, Stacy is a marketing person. So basically, yeah, like we only have these three profs in the program, and one used to work in the industry. The other two all currently work in the industry along as part time teachers in Humber. So that's very interesting. Yeah.
It is. And not only are you currently a piano and vocal teacher and a professional singer songwriter, but you're also a music producer.
Yeah.
Now, we know that you're a teacher at the Miriam School of Music, and you also own your own music brand, which is very interesting, where you're self-employed artist. So, can you give us a little bit of idea of what you do for
Well,
this own company of yours?
okay. So TCM is probably what you meant.
Hmm.
Stands for Tracy Tree Music. And it's in my handle here at Tracy Tree Music. So it's pretty much all my social media is basically Tracy Tree Music. And it also symbolized traditional Chinese medicine, like it's a short form for that too. And I find it very coincident is that my last name start with C and my first name is Tracy. And then music is kind of same thing as medicine. So I name it kind of short form along with that because I find out a lot of my music that I've already released so far is very healing to my fans. Whenever my fans or my friends listening to them, they're like, oh, you know, especially one of the song called "You're Your Own Best Friend." I released this EP called Rebirth last year, and this song was part of the EP. I remember there was this friend who listened to it, and at that time I was still in my undergrad study, and she was my schoolmate. So she was like, I listened to this song 100 times today because it just sounds very healing. Like, because I'm experiencing something really bad at the moment, and then whenever I hear your, especially this song, it's just making me feel so much better. It's like I am literally my best friend, and I'm like, yeah, well, that is the message of that song. So that's when, after I heard her saying that, I was like, okay, that's how TCM was born. I guess my music is like a medicine. So before hearing that, I don't have a brand yet. But after hearing she said that, that's how TCM came. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. That's very interesting. I love how you can use TCM and music is medicine. That's excellent. Also include a list of skills you possessed in the music industry, like teaching, which you have in education, performance, recording, and post production skills. Which part of music would you consider to be your favorite? Is it the singing? Is it the playing the piano? Or is it the music production? Like, what do you find your medicine more in when it comes to music?
That's a good question. um, so just pick one, right? Not like two.
Well, let's say you're given, okay, Tracy, I'm sorry to have to report, but you have music, singing, songwriting, and music production, but you're only allowed to use one of them to live your life. Which one is it?
I would say songwriting because I feel whenever I write songs, it makes me feel, yeah, like I'm being mostly cured by the medicine. So yeah.
So, do you have like a playlist of piano music, like your go-to music to make you feel kind of upbeat when you're feeling down? Like, what would you consider to be your upbeat music, your go-to music to make you feel better?
Recently, I've liked this Chinese singer called Curly G. Um, well, her last name is Gao, so I just kind of, for easier pronunciation, let's just say Curly G, because like that's how, like that's the first letter of her last name. And then she is a singer songwriter herself. And then, well, I love her voice first of all. Like she has this really strong, powerful, and husky voice, but I like her songwriting style more because her songs, like I guess, if you speak Mandarin and you understand Mandarin, you would look at her lyrics and be like, wow. And she's only like 25 this year, and she wrote like she's 35 or something already. Like she wrote like it sounds like she's experienced so much in her life. I don't know if she really did or maybe she could imagine it, but she literally wrote it like that. So it's impressive. So that's how, um apart from really singing my own song right now, I've been just literally singing all her songs because I just love her songwriting. I love her lyrics so much that is just, I feel like if I'm going to write a Chinese song next, it gotta be like in the style of her songwriting style, Yeah.
So, is her music medicine as well?
Yeah, her music is very medicine to me as well. Yeah.
Now, have you ever heard of any Asian music or any just regular mainstream music that you absolutely hate, that you don't even want to listen to? Mine would be there's this, in respect to Mr. Van Halen who passed away, there's a song by Van Halen called Jump, which absolutely not only makes me jump, but makes me want to run out of the wherever it's playing because I think it's one of the worst songs, terrible songs. Is there a
Oh,
song that you consider to be a song that you don't want to hear it?
mm, yeah, there's a lot actually that I would say that doesn't sound as good. Um, K-pop, like Korean pop, is such a trend these days, right? And a lot of like my age people listening to it, young 20s or early 15s, between 15 to 20. And then, I mean, no offense to them listening to it, but I mean, I used to really like listening to it too. But nowadays, I just feel like it just sounds it sounds very cliche. Like it's almost like the style of the music sounds like it's more popular 5 years ago than now. But I people still listening to it now, so I'm not gonna say much about it. But I guess I kind of personally, I kind of don't like K-pop right now. So yeah,
So, what is that group TBS? Is that a Chinese group or is that a what? What nationality are they? TBS.
PDS. Oh, I
Is
think
it
it's
TBS?
BTS.
BTS. Sorry. Let's try that again. So, what about BTS? Are they Chinese as well?
They're a Korean boy band, so they're a Korean boy group. Yeah.
Okay. Um, do you like Korean music as well? It's Japanese music.
It's more, I don't. Well, I used to like Korean music a lot. Like I used to love these boy groups, which is like groups made of five or six boys or seven, or and then they dance and sing at the same time. And then also there's girl group too, so same thing, but just in different gender. And then there's also the Japanese boy group and girl group. And I never listened to Japanese boy group and girl group, but I've used to listen to a lot of Korean ones, and I love them. I used to like maybe like when I was 18, back in high school time. But after I graduated from university, I don't know what's going on. I just suddenly don't like it anymore. So,
So
yeah.
you rather just stick with Chinese culture, including Chinese music.
Yeah, I mean, I still like C-pop. Like right now, there's the rising Chinese pop, so-called the C-pop. Um, I like them since I was in high school, and interesting, I still like them right now. It's not like Korean pop. I kind of don't like them anymore. So I guess it's because it's my own culture, and I understand the language better. With Korean pop, I'd have to look at the English translation, right? Because I don't understand Korean. So, well, even though a lot of my Chinese friends they don't understand Korean, they would still listen to Korean pop because it's the sound that they like. It's also a trendy thing to follow, right? So it's just right now there's all these trendy thing. But what do you want to listen? It's kind of like, do you really want to listen or do you want to really follow the trend? Is another obviously very deep topic we like people sometimes talk about. So yeah.
What exactly is musical theory? Like when they teach you musical theory, what's the theory? Like what does it mean, musical theory? What are they actually teaching you?
Musical theory is kind of like, so if like what are the chords, figuring out scales. Um, I think theory, if it comes for a definition of it, is any subject has theory, right? Before you being a master of this subject, you kind of need to know the theory of the subject. It's a foundation, and so it's just like if you're trying to like drive a car, you need to know how the car works, like what is inside there. I think music theory is the same thing to music. It's like if you want to like be able to write songs, you kind of need to know the chord structures, the chord progressions, and the scales that you want to take, the key, you want to make it major or minor. So that's what musical theory is to music. Yeah.
Is it always four chords? I hear that music is simply just four chords and you can create so many musical melodies with only four chords.
Yeah, with pop songs, I would say it's just mostly four chords. And at different places, the verse, you have a set of four chords, and you just need to change the order of the chords when it goes to chorus. Yeah. So it's like kind of simple when it comes to like, I guess, melody or writing chords. But lyrics is the hardest, I think, because lyric is when you really have to like delve deep into what you're really feeling. And sometimes it makes you vulnerable because like you need to write what you're exactly feeling. Like you can't sugarcoat it because if you code it and then you sing it out, your audience won't really believe it. If your audience don't really believe it, then you don't really believe it either. So it's almost like like they're connected with each other. So yeah.
So I know this has nothing to do with music, but when they translate a Chinese film into English,
Mhm.
is it spot on? Like, is Chinese language easy to translate into English?
Uh, I
Like,
wouldn't
for instance,
like
if I wanted to write a Chinese song, do I write it in English first and then get somebody to translate it in Chinese and then get a Chinese musician to sing it? Is that the same thing? Than just writing it in Chinese and singing in Chinese and then having it translated back to English? What's the more common approach to that?
writing a Chinese song is definitely different than writing an English song, I believe, because the language is different, and then how you the syllables is also very different. How you say it is also very different.
Hmm.
So if you're gonna write a Chinese song, you probably will just write in Chinese lyrics, and then you give it to a Chinese singer who knows the language to sing it. But if you wanted the song to change into an English song, then you can rewrite the lyrics into English, kind of translating, I guess, the process. And then, but when it comes to translating, you can't translate word by word because it won't make sense because they're very different languages.
Wow.
Usually, translators translate by meanings and not really like literal words. And then once it's translated by meanings, and then the English singer can sing it, then yeah.
So if I wanted to take Miley Cyrus' song Flowers, get it translated into Chinese and get someone to sing it in Chinese, would the
Mhm.
actual meaning and the emotional of the song change then? And it wouldn't be called Flowers, it would be called something else, right?
I mean, it could still call flowers, and then it could mean the same thing too. But when it's singing a different language, it always have a different feel. Like it's
Wow.
the same with every language, I believe. It's just it's always going to be having a different feel. But the meaning and the message can be the same. It's just how it's being portrayed. Like uh, it's just being portrayed a bit differently, so you will feel a bit different when it comes to the listener listening to the same song. So that's what I find really interesting about too. Yeah.
So if I wrote a song and I had people sing it, and there's so much emotional, like you said, your song um, makes you cry, definitely. Part of that song, Serenity, I heard was a really good song.
Mhm,
So, did you? I guess you wrote that in English. You didn't really write it in Chinese and translate it in English. You wrote it fully in English, right?
mhm,
Okay, so let's say I wrote a song, specifically a song, and I had different people sing it, and it gives you the same emotional impact. You cry, whatever, you feel this. And then you try to experiment. Okay, so without telling anybody, not even Chinese person, that it was originally written in English, you
mhm,
get some Chinese person to Chinese culture to translate it into Chinese, and then give it to a Chinese musician. Say, here's a song that was written in Chinese, and they
mhm.
sing it. Would they go, "Oh, wait a minute, did this used to be an English song translated into Chinese?" Would they say that?
They might think is kind of like, oh, it might because if it they heard that the song used to be an English version, then they'll be like, oh, okay, I guess we did a remake because like the song used to be an English song, but now it's into Chinese songs. So I guess we did a remake because it's not uncommon in China that some songs like Chinese singers sang is used to be an English song, and it's also not uncommon for like here, like in Canada right now, a lot of like people online, like kind of like online influencer, they translate like they translate the Chinese song into English song into English song. So it's the same song, but they translated it. So and I think it's whether from English to Chinese or Chinese to English translation, the translator is always I'm very like I think I'm very admiring these kind of translators because they need to know both languages so well in order to translate between two languages very smoothly. And it's like for different audiences to sing, um, who sings different languages, and you can see like for example, do you know the English song "Take Me to Your Heart"? Or is it? Uh, it
What
sounds like that.
musician?
It sounds like "Take me to your heart, take me to your soul."
Oh, okay. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so that song is translated into Mandarin. Well, we don't say Chinese. Chinese is a general like Mandarin is because in China there's two languages, Mandarin,
Mandarin
Cantonese.
and Cantonese, yeah.
Yeah, so most official language is Mandarin. Cantonese is only spoken in Hong Kong and Canton. So, but the other provinces all speak Mandarin. So it's more like Mandarin is more dominated, you would say. So basically, this song was translated into Mandarin. I don't know if it could be translated to Cantonese too, but I don't know about that side. I'm not very like because I'm not from Hong Kong and those area. I'm from the Mandarin speaking area, so I know. So specifically, I know that song was translated into Mandarin, and then it sounded very good because I listened to the Mandarin version, and it was perfect. Like it's like sometime when they translate, it sounds a little weird because it's like you can clearly hear it's being translated. But this song, in for specific, it just doesn't sound like it's being translated. It sounded like wow, somebody literally rewrote the lyrics and then made it into a Mandarin song. So it's a very great translation. I would think. I don't know who did it, but the person who did it is probably a master. So yeah, and then there's also like a Chinese song, well, Mandarin song, and then I forgot the name, but a Canadian singer or maybe a U.S. singer. Well, it's not really a singer. Like he's more of an online influencer, but he has like more than 10K followers or something. He translate one of the songs into English, and that also sounds very smooth. So I'm just like, wow, okay. So I guess basically, the two cultures are translating each other's songs, and then it's very interesting because when it's being translated into different languages, it just sounds so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you take Barry Manilow's song "I Can't Smile Without You" and you translate that into Mandarin,
Mhm.
does it say "Can't smile without you," or does the whole meaning totally change?
I mean, depends on the lyrics, right? Sometimes if the lyrics in English kind of portray, I think something more complicated, or like if it sounds a little ambiguous or obscure, then Mandarin will change a little bit to make it, I guess, easier for the listener to understand. Because sometimes, in English, like it might means like, especially I guess with the culture difference too. Like in here, you can kind of like some English songs you hear they openly sing about sex, but in like when it comes to translation to Mandarin songs, we would change the lyrics a bit because we don't usually opening singing about sex. That's kind of more we're more conservative on that. So we would like change the approach of saying it's the same meaning, but it's gonna change the approach of saying it so that the listener listening to it might not think is really singing about that, but it is actually singing about that. But the fans could not really tell, and that's what I guess the difference is. Yeah.
So what if you go to the complete opposite and you have Nessun Dorma,
Mm.
Italian song Nessun Dorma from Puccini's Turandot, that's from
Mm.
Tosca,
Yeah, it's an opera song, right?
and the Italian tenor says, "Oh, my female duet partner, soprano, she's Mandarin, she's Chinese. Could you translate Nessun Dorma into Chinese because she's going to sing it in Chinese? Would that be possible? Because you do realize when you translate Nessun Dorma Italian, all it
Mhm.
is that it says Nessun Dorma. When it's in English, it's none shall sleep tonight.
Yeah, it
So do
makes
you
see.
have to translate it in English first before you translate the song into another language? Or can you take the Chinese song and translate it instantly into German? Would that be like difficult to do?
Yeah, I mean, of course, because I don't know German, right? So it's like if I wouldn't be able to take a Mandarin song easily translate it into German because I
No,
don't
but would
speak.
that be possible to take Nessun Dorma and translate it into Chinese? Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
Mandarin. Mandarin.
if somebody speaks Italian, like for example, if a Mandarin speaker speaks Italian, yeah, and then he or she wants to translate the song, then this person could.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I see here that you're a music education specialist
Mhm,
from Miriam Music,
mhm,
um, but you were taught lesson planning, communication, which is very, very needed in music,
mhm.
youth development. Um, youth development, Mandarin, English, piano playing. So, what did you learn with youth development? What kind of course is that?
Oh, so that was like kind of the skill that I used when I was teaching piano. Well, when I am teaching piano right now. Especially at Miriam, there's a lot of like youth people, right, learning piano. So it's kind of like, how do I get them to want to play piano? How do I get them to sit on the bench and not want to move around? That's, a challenge sometimes because when the kid is so young, they just want to not play the piano and do something else. And they only usually have 30 minutes class time, so I don't want to waste their parents money, so it's like, okay, I need to, like, so I came up with a lot of techniques just for them to be able to sit up on the bench and play the piano. Well, they will still have like the last 10 minutes to do something else, but the first 20 I usually try my best to get them sit on the bench and just play the piano, and it's been successful so far, so yeah.
And do you sing and play at the same time? Is that easy for you?
Yeah, like if I wanna sing a pop song, yeah, I would sing and play at the same time.
Now, do you have a repertoire of music that say, okay, Tracy, we want you to play
Mhm.
a whole hour session of just music, no singing? Would you already have it prepared?
For piano, yeah, I do have a set of repertoire too.
And how about singing? Does it your own music that you sing, or do you sing covers?
I sing both, but mostly I sing my own music right now.
So, what's your favorite song to sing? And you can't say Serenity,
Yeah, because that one's
not
not
out yet.
dropping yet. Yeah, but it's coming, right? It's very soon. Um, well, so far the ones that I dropped, um, the ones I like the most is, I would say, Rebirth, because I only have 4 so far, right? So I like the Rebirth the most because that was literally the title track of the EP. So because the EP is also called Rebirth. So if you guys haven't heard Rebirth yet, give it a listen. It's literally about a song about, reborn, and it's the same title track as the EP name. So very, very cool.
And we will link it down below in the description. And when Serenity is released, I will post it in description as well. Will there be a Serenity, Tracy Tree? Will there be a Serenity music video?
I think in this point I would just make a lyric video because a music video with stories is very expensive. And I'm kind of like, as a kind of a poor musician, they would say these days, we're kind of broke. And then so we don't have enough budget to make a story music video, but a lyric music video doesn't require that much. So I can make that. Yeah.
So you promote yourself or try to promote yourself, especially attending with, Jazzy and Megan and the 3 or 4 other artists that were there in the summertime. And I actually remember you singing.
Mhm.
I think you were the first or second that went on. Yeah, I
Yeah.
now got some memories as well.
Yeah.
That's a good way to promote yourself because you would
Yeah.
expect maybe some music producer, someone to walk up to you and say, Tracy, yeah, I
Mhm.
loved how you sounded, and then hand you their card and say, hey,
Yeah.
So, how do you promote yourself besides going to um, those shows here? Um, what else do you do to promote yourself? Tell me some of the ways that you promote yourselves beside performing.
I also like what I did at Instagram. Apart from performing, that's usually when I drop the song, I perform to kind of, that's really for mostly like release party. Um, but if the song hasn't released yet, I do snippets of the song on Instagram, like that I have for Serenity right now. And I also take, photos for whenever there's a new single or new album coming up. I take concept photos that relates to either the single's story or the album story. So that's another thing I'm doing. And the day when it's dropped, the music, whenever it's music or album, um, I would sometimes sing live on YouTube, just kind of hold a live concert. Not all the time, but sometimes I would do that. I also like, I think going to competitions, like I go to sometimes the Chinese sing competitions, or here's English sing competition, like The Voice. It's all sort of, I do it also as a form of promotion too, because I'm planning to sing my original Serenity for the Voice audition. So it's another way of promoting my original. But I think with the Voice video submissions, like you can sing two songs, and they like it that it's cover. But I think if I do one cover and one original, they might be okay with it. But if not, then I'll do a virtual open call, like where there'll be judges sitting like we're doing now, like at the other side of the computer, and I just literally sing for them in front of the computer. And that one's only, you only do a verse and a chorus. And I might do Serenity too, because that's what I like know the most right now. I just want to promote Serenity. It's not like I have to sing Serenity, but it's just I really just want to promote this new single that's about to come out. So I guess so I've got a couple of promotion technique, I guess. Yeah. Mhm.
And of course, you want to get your voice out there, and you want to get the single Serenity out there, and
Mhm.
Rebirth as well is another one we will link down below.
Mhm.
Um, so about September, I think you started a position as administrative assistant,
Mhm.
and artist support and marketing for Jesse Ryan. So what exactly do you do as an administrative assistant? And this has something to do with music, right?
Yeah, that's more on the business side of the music. Yeah. So that's when I do uh well, I'm not in there now anymore. I was there back in September, but I quit in October due to some personal reasons. Um, but when I was there, I was helping Jesse with admin stuff. Yeah, like literally as an admin, and also I was also a marketing person for him, so kind of marketing his new music coming out, literally like what I'm doing now, but for a different artist, right? For someone else. Um, and then yeah, so that's why when I left that position, I was able to utilize the skills that I learned. Like I learned a lot about how to promote and market for an artist, how to do the admin works for an artist. So when I left that place, I kind of, that's why I literally used it all on the Serenity, because it's like a new song's gonna come out, I might as well do the admin and promote and marketing for myself for Serenity. So I utilize the skills that I've learned with him on myself right now. So I don't regret being there. And it was a good experience. But yeah, due to some unfortunate personal reason, I had to leave last month or this month. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I know that up to December, I think a couple of months, but you're currently doing a graduate certificate in music business. But some of the things you're learning are copywriting
Mhm.
and copyright law and music contracts, which is very, very interesting.
Mhm.
Um, does is copywriting, copyright law, and music contracts, are they so similar that they're all in the same sort of genre? Or like, tell me a little bit
Um,
about music contracts. What's that all about?
yeah, so the contract is like there's different type. There's like, so if as an indie musician, like us, indie means no labels, still kind of doing on your own. Um, and it's a short form for independent. That's why it's indie. But if you're like kind of promoting yourself and building up from the bottom, and then you're to a point that it's like you have tens and thousands of followers on social medias, the A&Rs might look at you like from an actually record label. They might saw you and then they will reach out to you. But it's not guaranteed, but there is a possibility, right? So once they reach out to you, and then they might say, "I really like your songs," and then your songs fit our genre, because our label usually promote like pop artists or whatever, and then they might hand you over a recording contract, and that's one form of the contract. And what this recording contract does is they will invest in some money to help you record some of your songs. But you have to kind of recoup those back. So you have to make sure your songs earn money once it's out, so you can pay back those investment, or else the label might decide to unsign you. And this is what I learned during Humber. Is like it's really, I used to thought, oh, once I get signed, then I'm safe. I probably won't be like leaving the company anytime soon. But no, if you're not making the company enough profit, they will unsign you. So it's and I'm glad that I went to Humber, because if I didn't go to Humber, I wouldn't know about this. And this is the reality of the music industry right now. So I that's one form of the contract. And another is, obviously, it's called a production contract. Is just, well, that contract is usually signed between not the labels and the artist. Is more for the producer and the artist. Is for producer to produce songs for the artist. But the producer might not sign as artist, may or may not. And that's another form of contract. And there's also the publishing contract, which is really interesting. That's for songwriters only. And it's usually given by publishing company, not labels, but publishing company. And what publishing company does is to put your songs into films, TV, and commercials.
Mm.
They will only sign your songs if your songs make enough money to, like, have enough plays beyond radios and have enough exposure. They will sign your songs then. But in the other downside is that once they sign your song, you only get 50% of your copyright, because they take half of the other side of the copyright. So you won't have 100% copyright to your songs. You only have half of it, because they're taking half of it. So it's like a lot of time. That's why there's so many indie musicians out now these days, because they're like, why signing to a label or a publishing company? It's like, I don't want to give myself away, because when you're signing to a label, you're kind of like giving yourself away. And then when you're signing to a publishing company, it's like you're giving your songs away. So they don't want to give anything of them away. So they just become indie musicians. And, but it's, well, there's like the upside of like having everything owned by yourself when you're an indie musician, but you also don't have enough resources, right? You won't have enough exposure. Like, not a lot of people will know you, because if you're signed under a label, even though you're not that free, but at least there'll be a lot of people who knows you, like you're more famous. So there's always the up and down sides of everything. It's whatever you choose, kind of.
Yeah, one of my friends used to be in an 80s band,
Mm.
and we did a podcast and really appreciated his transparency. And he says, and you might agree with me, he says that when they signed a recording contract for so many millions, they don't get those millions. In fact, they ended up more broke
Mm-hmm.
than they did rich. So just because you sign a recording contract for money, you don't get that money.
Yeah. I mean, unless if your songs can really earn all those money, then you're yourself, you become a billionaire, and then you also make your label happy too, because they also earn a lot of money. But if your songs don't like profit that much, you're broke, first of all, yourself, and you also don't make your label happy, and then they might consider not signing you anymore because you're not making them money. Because it's a business, right? Like everything is a business. It's like, if you're not gonna able to make labels money, why would labels still keep you as an artist? It's kind of like, I mean, it's sad, but what can you do? It's like the reality of this industry. Yeah.
Do you think your career could take off if suddenly the manager of Miley Cyrus or Britney Spears or Taylor Swift said, "Okay, I'd like to collaborate with you, Tracy"? Do you think
Oh,
you're
that would have been so great. I mean, but with manager is different, right? Manager, there's also the management contract that I forgot to say. With management contracts, obviously signing between manager and an artist. Um, and with manager contracts, actually, I think these days you can get a manager than signing a label, because with manager, this person will get you a lot of shows, so you will have enough exposure already. So sometimes you don't even need the label's help, but you definitely, I think, need the manager's help. Like right now, I'm trying to get myself a manager, I'm part of the Music Managers Forum in Canada. That's an organization of, you know, different managers and also self-managed artists like ourselves. Like so if I don't have a manager right now, I'm considered self-managed artist. So I'm managing myself basically. Um, and but it's you can only do so much as a self-managed artist, right? You also have to create music, and you also have to worry about getting all these shows. So it's like when you're doing the creative side of music, you also have to worry about the business side of music. That's too much. Like it will take up a lot of your time. So it's always better to have a manager because they will take care of the business side of the music, and you just need to focus on writing your songs, which will like save up a lot of those other worries and mental exhaustion. And then and I heard that basically Megan has a manager. I think it was Andrew that, because after the amphitheater unplugged that day, Andrew came out and I mean, they kind of knew each other. Apparently, she said I was talking to her yesterday, so it was really recent. She said they actually knew each other before the amphitheater unplugged show, so that's why after the show, Andrew just kind of talked about how they can work together, I believe. And then I was like, wow, that's you know, I even asked if Andrew can manage me too because I know you, and then I was asking to see if she can do me a referral. But she's like, well, Andrew already made an exception for me. It's not like he's really managing. So I'm like, oh, okay, all right. And so I mean, I'd like that, someone like Andrew or whoever down the road can manage me, and then I can like just worry about my songwriting. Then I'll have more time to write better songs. Maybe my songs will be even better, um, because when you have to worry about the business side too, there's only so much time that you can dedicate to writing songs, right? So yeah.
Yeah, that's true because when I first met Megan, it was on a YouTube channel, and I found
Mhm.
out she was from Oakville. And now look at her. She's got a manager, and she's doing well, and she's got a beautiful voice, and she's going to make it. But also, I know that there are a lot of musicians out there that are their own managers. They not only are their own managers, but they also plan their own performances. They also go get a venue, and yet they're part of the band. So you want someone that you can trust. And who you're going to trust? Yourself. Because you might get a manager who you might end up, might be running some sort of Ponzi scheme or something. And Tracy, one day you're going to be asking for some money, and they gambled it all away. So you got to make sure for them. Like I know Andrew too. I met him.
Hmm.
I think it was the beginning of August that I was down here, and Jazzy was there, and Megan was there, and I was there, and we all went out for coffee after. It was excellent. So you got to make sure you get a great manager and find someone who's trustworthy. You
Hmm.
find out who they used to manage, and you got to contact those musicians and find out how is so and so. Are they a good manager? Oh yeah, they blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it's like a good manager is like because they know each other, like Andrew and Megan, like even before the show.
mhm.
So it's kind of understandable that they will work with each other because they have this personal connection already. So for artists to find a manager, I think it's like you need to have a personal connection with your manager before this person can even want to manage you. Because if this person doesn't even know you or having a personal connection with you, no matter if your songs are so great or how like this person loves your songs, they might not even manage you either because they don't know you personally, despite they might like your songs. So I think is like it's a very different uh dynamic that you gotta have too. So it's more of a personal connection dynamic. Yeah.
That's interesting. And I love the fact that you're planning to sing an audition at The Voice. When does your audition tape have to? I said tape, you know what I mean? Audition
Video.
video. Are
Yeah.
you going actually down there in person to sing?
I'm gonna record at Mac Studio, right? Mississauga Arts Council, the short form Mac. And after I record it, I believe next Tuesday, I'm gonna go home and then kind of edit a bit, and then if it needed, because sometimes I make a video and then I kind of film myself. It looks so good, I don't need to do any edit. Um, and then but if it's not good, I'll do some edit and then upload it on YouTube and just give out the link and then submit online to I have like where the voice is, and you just submit it under your application portal, and then they might see it, but they might also not see it. So that's why I'm also signing up for the virtual open call where I'll just sing to them virtually live. Yeah.
So, like you and Megan, auditioning for The Voice. So if you get accepted, do you actually go down there and then sing in front of all the judges who have
Well,
their
yeah.
backs turned towards you, and then boom, they press the button and you go, wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, apparently I asked Megan, is that really the case once we pass this round? And then she's like, yeah, if you pass this round, then usually if you pass it, they will give you a call back saying that you pass it. And then you really go down to the States. And then, yeah, on that stage. And if you sing it really well, they will press that, button and then the chair will turn. Yeah.
That's
And
amazing, Tracy. Wow, I'm really excited.
then,
Everyone, make sure you subscribe to Tracy Tree's YouTube channel and all her social media. Same with Megan. And oh, awesome. I'm looking so forward to you. So you're thinking that maybe this time next year, where do you see yourself?
maybe this time next year, if I can go to the so-called the turning chairs round is the blind audition, right? If I can go to that round and then even make it even further to like maybe the second or third round, I don't know how far I'll go, but as much as I can go, um, maybe next year. If I can go really far, though, it has to be really far, I think, in order for me to be more well known and then potentially be even famous. But
I'm really
I guess you gotta
excited.
do that. Yeah, but if I can't go to that so far, like maybe I won't be that famous, but it's okay. Then I'll still make my music, and that's basically the goal for next. Yeah,
That's the main thing, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Um, So I'd be interested in learning more about your musical theater. Uh, is that something that you'd like to do, musical theater?
I used to do it back in 2015, I believe. I don't do it anymore because
Oh,
yeah, I mostly, I think with me and Megan's difference is that she's more like a musical theater singer
mhm.
and she's got a great voice for that. I'm more focusing on pop right now because I feel like I sing better when it comes to pop music. So, yeah.
So would you say you have a grade six piano or grade eight piano?
I have a grade 9 piano actually.
Oh, wow, you're higher than that. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, grade nine piano. So you can literally be able to play like Mozart and Chopin and Prokofiev.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
amazing. Wow. We
yeah.
got like a prodigy right in front of us. This is amazing. So what is exactly is choral music? Like I've always wanted to know what that was. Like what is choral music?
Oh, choral music is just choir music. So, uh,
Oh,
yeah, I guess like if you know what a choir is, where lots of people are singing together, and so it's not solo singing anymore. It's more like group singing, and the voices are divided by soprano, alto, and these ones are usually for females. Like female has mostly soprano or alto. Soprano would be like really high female voice. Alto would be middle female voice, and for men's is more what is it, tenor and bass. So tenor would be like higher pitched male voice. Bass is the lower pitch male voice. So I used to sing in this. Well, this is a complete choir where you have four sections of voices. There's also the choir that only has female voices, so they're only going to be soprano and alto voices. So I've sang in both of these when I was at Queen. And what I find difference is that when it comes to like a complete choir is that when men's there, oh wow, it's like you have this booming bass when we're singing something, and then you have this really high pitched female voice. So there's like this, and then in the middle, you don't really hear the middle voices. So I was an alto when I was in like these kind of choirs, but I don't really hear myself. I only hear either the really high soprano voice or the bass male voice. So it's really interesting. And but when it comes, I've also sang in just like female vocal choirs, and so that's when I can hear my voice because there's no men's voice and there's only female voices. So I can hear obviously the higher pitched soprano female, and then also me, the lower pitched soprano. I mean the lower pitched female voice. So that's when I can finally hear myself. I'm like, I wasn't able to hear myself whenever I'm in this, including men's choir. Like it's just too much. But when it comes to just female choirs, yes, finally, that feeling when it's like, yeah.
I got news for you, Tracy.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever heard of the male soprano.
Hmm.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
the male soprano. There's also male soprano, right? They will call more like contra something or contra tenor.
Um, well, very high. In fact, I heard recently a male soprano,
Oh,
and if you close your eyes, you think it was a woman singing.
oh my.
And also, there's the lower register. Very few females can do this. I think they're called mezzo sopranos. Well, it's lower than the soprano.
Yeah, but mezzo soprano is higher than alto. Alto is actually lower than mezzo soprano.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So I have
female
a pretty
tenors.
low voice.
Yeah, and female tenors. I mean,
Yeah.
if a woman sings really low, you can't call her a soprano, and you can't call her mezzo soprano. I mean,
You call them alto, yeah.
yeah, or even much lower. I don't know if there's female um, basses or female baritones, but I've
Oh,
heard
there is, but
I've
very
heard
rare. Very
yeah.
rare. Yeah. Most females are either soprano or alto with like baritone. I think there's a famous singer in China who's a female baritone,
Wow.
but it's very rare. It's just her, right? So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that tenor was a male and soprano was a female, but that's not true. When
Mm.
I heard this gentleman sing, I'm thinking, that's a male soprano. Wow. So I
Yeah.
was surprised. So tell us about your little stint that you did for the North by Northeast Music Festival in June. You were a ticket handler and stagehand. What did you like better, the ticket handling or the stagehand?
So NXT is a North. I don't know if you know, is one of Canada's biggest music festival. Is called North by Northeast, and what I did was, yeah, as a volunteer, we don't get paid, and then I did both the ticket handling, which is selling ticket, and also stage hand. Stage hand is helping the stage manager, kind of basically helping set up the stage and tearing down the stage before and after the musician, and then I think I like stagehand better because you actually get to know how to set up a stage and tearing down it, and you also get to see the musician because when you're setting up the stage, you kind of say hi, when they're getting ready and to do the sound check, and they're standing there already. But as a ticket handler, you don't see them because you're literally at the front door just selling tickets. You might hear like music when they start playing, but you don't get to see them singing. You just hear their voices. That's it. So I like stagehand better. Yeah.
How did you feel when you were when you were honored to participate in a vocal star training camp for singing and songwriting back in 2019? This is pre-pandemic, of course. Everything has changed,
Yeah.
but a lot of people couldn't perform anymore. I think everyone's starting to perform now.
Mhm.
Um, but how did it make you feel when you were awarded the Best Music Video Performance Award in the Young Adults category?
Oh,
What was
that
going
was
through your What was going through your head?
yeah, that was right now I'm kind of calm because it was like 4 years passed already, right? You kind of forget that excitement. But at that moment, I remembered I was like, because I was awarded during the gala night when we were eating and seeing performances. And after all these are done, there was like giving the award section. And then so when it comes to young adult, and I remember this person announces it, first one was someone else. And I'm like, okay, second one will be someone else too. And like I didn't expect I would win anything. I would just be like, second will be someone else too. But they were like, so when he was like second, Tracy Tree, and I'm like, wait, is that me? And because like I think I was like, I didn't go up right away because I was like, that's probably someone else named Tracy Tree. And then my mom was like, because my mom was there too and beside me, and she was like, Tracy, it's your name. And I'm like, really? And she's like, just go already. And then like, so I just went up because like that was like 2 minutes past already after he called my name. And then I went up and I was like, and then obviously I got a little trophy. And then when I was holding the trophy, and then he's like, you have to say something. And I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't prepare some kind of award winning speech, So, and then so I just randomly said something, be like, okay, I didn't imagine that I would get this. I was just singing a cover song called Alicia Cara's How Far I'll Go. And I
Mm.
was performing on stage. That was the word about. And then I was like, and then I got an award for it. Wow, okay, maybe I did a really great performance because I was a little bit dramatic, because I remember my facial expression was a little bit dramatic when I sing it. And then so I was like, okay, maybe that's why I won. And then literally everyone laughed because I was very humorous. And then he's like, well, that was a good speech. And then I thanked my mom and everyone for helping and hosting this program called Vocal Star. And then I went before I went down, the host was like, that was a good speech. And I'm like, really? I literally just wing it. And he's like, no, you did good. And so when I went down, I'm like, I know I remember I told my mom, I was like, I can't believe this. She's like, good job, Tracy. And then we continue going on. Yeah.
Do you feel that it's all worth it, or do you feel that there's a time when you just want to give up?
I think whenever you won an award, you feel it's worth it because you put in the effort. Um, but there are other time when you try so hard to promote your songs and then there's not much people listening still, like when it's released, because I can check the analytics when how many people are listening on Spotify, how many people are listening on Apple, I can check it. um, and if the streaming numbers is not a lot, um, that's when you really feel a little bit disappointment. It's like, oh, I've put in so much time and weeks on just promoting this new release, and then it's not giving me the number that I want. And that's when you feel like, and there were time I remember when I was releasing Rebirth EP last year. I was doing a lot of promotion too, but not a lot of people listened to it. And so when I saw the analytics, I remember clearly at that moment I was like, maybe my songs just aren't that good. Like literally I had that thought going through my brain. Like maybe all these four songs are just not good. Like that was literally the thought. And then after I thought about that and I was like, oh wow, I can't believe I just said it to myself that. And then because before I would always be like, my songs are the best, how could it not be not good? But after I said that to myself, I'm like, okay, um, all right. I mean, but I'm not that discouraged. Like after I said it, I was like, okay, maybe I just need to work harder and write better songs. Maybe, refine my songwriting technique. And then, so that's why I was able to keep going and I wrote Serenity this year. Because if I was to at that moment be like, okay, my songs maybe just not that good. That's why not a lot of people listening to it. Obviously, there were some people, but not a lot. Um, if I was to just give up at that moment, then I wouldn't be where I am today, right? So usually at those really dark times, I just try my best to lift myself up because again, I wrote You're Your Own Best Friend. So it's like I have to be my own best friend. I have to like fulfill what I wrote, right? So I was at those moments I'm always like you could do it, kind of giving yourself like more push and then eventually I'm still going because I was able to lift myself out of those darkness times and then
Wow.
I'm still going. Yeah.
So I guess I take it to deal with your own mental health is to listen to music.
Yeah, sometimes it helps with my mental health when I listen to music. Whether it's my own or not doesn't matter, but just by listening to music itself, I'm already happy because I just love music. Yeah.
Do you think Serenity will achieve the Spotify numbers that, for instance, Britney Spears' song Toxic is now over a billion streams? And I don't know if you heard of Post Malone, but his song Circles is like up to a billion. What do you think of these big numbers and thinking, how did this guy or how did this female singer, how did this musician get such high numbers? And then you're thinking, well, maybe my song Serenity will get those numbers. Like, how do you think that works, Spotify?
First of all, I don't know if I'll get those amount of number, right? Because Britney Spears and Post Malone, they're kind of like well known already.
Mhm.
So with them getting 100 or billions of whatever streaming numbers, it's kind of like understandable because they're so well known. I'm not that well known, so I didn't expect billions. Of course, that would be way too kind of your daydreaming, maybe. But I kind of expect maybe this time this song could reach about 1,000 streaming at least because this song is pretty like upbeat, and I know right now, like especially young people, they love listening to kind of pop and R&B with a little bit of rapping in it. It's like a cool mix, right? And a lot of these young people like age 18 to about 30 they love, like, I mean, my friend are all around this age, and when I play snippets of it, they all said, "Oh, this sounds very different than what you wrote before." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a little different style, right?" And then they were like, "Okay, I'm actually excited for the release date." So I'm hoping you guys are still excited for the release date, and so I feel like this time the streaming numbers should be higher than before. And I'm hoping, like, I'm really finger crossing, like, come on, guys, get me through this. Like, yeah.
We are looking forward to hearing Serenity and when it's finally dropped, and looking forward to seeing the lyric video. Um, Also be interested. Okay, we're gonna give you a couple more questions. I see that you are hardworking and passionate in your career and life. Okay, I can understand you being passionate in your career, but how would you put that in your life? How would you be? How are you passionate in your life?
Um, Passionate. Yeah, that's a good question. Hmm. Well, in life, it's like, uh, in career, I'm passionate because I'm obviously like, like doing all these to get my trying to get myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in life, I'm also passionate because I like to, if I'm not doing music, because music is already my career now, then I like to, like, I always go out to walk. Like, I love hiking. Like, right. That's why I was thinking we should do it earlier today because I'm planning to go hiking in the afternoon. It's such a lovely weather, right? And then so I always love to I have a good, I think, life and career balance. Like, I'm not gonna make myself work on my music all the time. Like, I'm gonna give myself time to go out hiking, to read books. I love fictions, and to watch dramas. Oh my gosh, I love watching cheesy dramas, apparently. And I
Hallmark
can't
Christmas
believe,
movies.
yeah, I can't believe I'm still in that stage, but oh well. And then I just, like, I know how to relax myself. It's almost like whenever I'm tired, I literally just pull on a great show that I like, or I go out for a walk. And I really enjoy it when I do these because it makes me so happy. So, and then it also makes me relax. So I guess that's what it shows is passionate in life. So yeah. And then I feel like when I do these, I really love my life. So I guess that's why when you, because when you love something, right, you will feel passionate about it. It's like whether it's life or career, it's the same thing. So yeah.
So you never thought of trying your hand at acting, I guess, huh?
Acting, I actually tried, but I kind of failed because apparently the casting directors all think that, maybe I'm not good enough. Like, because, with acting, you kind of need to learn the technique too. I kind of just go by nature or by my impulse, and they're like, is that's not enough. You kind of need some training. And I'm like, okay, but I'm a busy musician. And they're like, yeah, I know. That's why we were kind of hesitant to cast you on this show because are you gonna have time if you got casted? Are you gonna have time to even film this thing? And I'm like, okay, you're right. Like, that's a critical question. So, like, so I'm okay because I mean, music is already making me very busy. I don't think I'll have the time to go into acting.
This is excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Tracy, we really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to interview you, and I'm actually happy that you're another one in our area, but you're actually in Oakville,
Yeah.
and Megan's in Oakville too.
Oh, I'm in Mississauga actually.
Oh, you're in Mississauga?
Yeah, that's why I'm part of the Mississauga Arts Council member, right?
Yeah, but so is Megan, but she's in Oakville.
Oh, she's not in Mac actually, because if she is, she would have used like the free studio. It's like I don't know if she knows. Maybe she doesn't know there's
Are
a
you
free.
sure? Because when she was in the Mac,
Mhm.
um, I thought you had to be okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll delete that part.
maybe she doesn't know about the studio. So I mean, yeah, don't take my word for it. Maybe she just doesn't know, and she might be in the number, but who knows, right?
Okay, I'll cut this part out. Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you, Tracy. Really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to interview you. It's nice to know that there's another musician that lives sort of in my area.
Mhm.
You and Megan, and we also had a bassist by the name of Justice Haitius as well,
Oh.
and met him up in the Streetsville Honey and Festival.
Mm.
Um, sorry, Streetsville. What is it? Bread and Honey Festival. That's it.
Yeah.
Leading up to Bread and Honey Festival. So we had him on the podcast. Um, Before we go, could you give us a little bit of just a little bit of advice for up and coming um, singer songwriters, musicians?
uh, a, a short advice um, for upcoming singer songwriter or musicians in general, right? Okay, I would say, so if you're like, whether you're pianist or violinist or singer songwriter, or whatever the instrument that you're playing, there will be time that you're gonna hit a big blunk, and you might feel like you really want to quit, and then sometimes it's like you might even think, oh, it's easier to just give up. Like, it might be just easier to just not do music in general, and then because it's also not a very stable job anyways, and then I might be like having a better life by finding a 9 to 5 stable job earning bucks per year. But if this is something that you really really love, I would say you got to keep going it. You don't want to just give up just because it won't make you bucks per year. You could probably like find a part-time job on the side just to try to make some kind of living, and then but you need to support your dream, right? You obviously need to find some jobs to support this dream, then go find it. But don't, substitute another job just because this career can't make you enough living. But sometimes some people quit because they don't love it that much. So that will be another story. So I would say, but for people who really really love music, you're so passionate about this field, then keep going at it, whatever that you do. Don't be influenced by how much money you earn per year because you're doing this, or by how successful you are, whether you're famous or not. Whether you're famous or not, you still should do it. Like, you still should write songs. Like, I'm still going to write songs whether I'm going to be famous or not, because I believe eventually one day there will be people listening to my songs, and that's it. Yeah.
Coming from Tracy Tree herself, everyone. Tracy Tree Music. Check out all her music, and also her song Serenity will be releasing on Friday, as we mentioned. Okay, Tracy, thank you so much. We are going to end this stream, and I don't want to take you away from your hiking. So
No worries. It was nice talking to you.
much appreciate, Tracy.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.